Pancreatitis is mostly overlooked among many diseases. Early detection is our exceptional defense against any of the diseases, as is the case for pancreatitis. Symptoms are mostly disregarded, misdiagnosed, or omitted until it is too late. What's even more shocking is that about 330,000 people in the U.S. are hospitalized each year due to pancreatitis, and the numbers are steadily rising. Now, before moving on to the top 10 early signs, let us just try to understand what it is. As we all know, it is a key organ for regulating blood sugar. In these pancreatic diseases, a patient might either have acute or chronic pancreatitis. The major difference is the time frame as to how long the inflammation continues to be there. Many people get admitted to the U.S., and the main reason for that is the pancreas. Now, this is horrifying because if this is that widespread in a country like the U.S., one can only imagine what it would be like in other countries. People each year in the U.S. are unfortunately diagnosed with acute pancreatitis. When compared to children, we can observe this condition mostly in adults. There could be several factors that may support the aforesaid statement. One could be the lifestyle and habits. You must be very cautious if you are consuming heavy alcohol and if you frequently smoke. These two can make it worse and escalate it into chronic pancreatitis. Now, let's move on to chronic pancreatitis. Slightly different from acute pancreatitis, chronic is when you experience early signs like pain for a long period. It is often very hard to pick up the signs when you have chronic pancreatitis. You only realize or go for a diagnosis at a later stage, and by that time the damage might have been done. Now let's talk about the top 10 early signs of both acute pancreatitis and chronic pancreatitis. 1. Abdominal pain. It's considered the most common early sign of pancreatic disease. It might be because of the location of the pancreas in our body. It is located at the back of our stomach, so don't overlook it if in case you feel any pain in that area. If this pain is sudden and severe, then it is acute pancreatitis, but otherwise, if you are experiencing it for a long period, then it can be chronic. 2. Nausea and vomiting. While this sign is common in many diseases, it can also be linked with pancreatitis. The reason why might be experiencing it is due to changes in bowel movements. As I said, the pancreas gets inflamed in this condition and further leads to these digestive issues. It is always good to get regular checkups in case you see any of these early signs. 3. Fever. Fever also is a common sign for many diseases. This is because this is how the body reacts to infections or any inflammation. It is more like an immune response to the body. The range for mild to moderate is when it's in between 100 to 102.2 degrees Fahrenheit. When the pancreas gets inflamed, then one thing observed is that it also triggers the cytokines. This is mainly in the acute pancreatitis. This is not just in the case of cytokines. Certain molecules of inflammation change the body's thermoregulation system. 4. Rapid pulse. Ever felt that your heart is beating too fast? Especially when you are not engaged in sports activities like running, this can be unusual. Here, your heart beats more than 100 times per minute. This actually can be caused as a basic response to pain, fever, and inflammation. When the heartbeat increases, it is meant to repair or heal, so in the end, it delivers oxygen, absorption nutrients, and increases blood flow. 5. Tenderness. Your abdomen sometimes might feel tender when touched. This is because the whole upper abdomen area is sensitive to any kind of touch or pressure. This is also mostly seen in acute pancreatitis. 6. Decreased appetite or constipation. Like discussed previously in the video, abdominal pain, nausea, and general discomfort are experienced during acute pancreatitis. The reason why this occurs is because the body prioritizes dealing with inflammation and pain over any other functions, such as hunger and digestion. That is why you feel a desire to eat due to a change in bowel habits. In all processes like absorption of nutrients, breaking the food pancreas plays a major role. An improper functioning of this organ causes appetite changes. Also, the inflammation can affect surrounding organs and the overall digestive process, contributing to these gastrointestinal symptoms. 7. Diarrhea and steatorrhea. As discussed in acute pancreatitis, this symptom is present in chronic pancreatitis as well. This especially results in poor functioning of the pancreas, and its ability to produce digestive enzymes is impaired. This further leads to poor digestion and absorption of nutrients, particularly fats. This can result in diarrhea and steatorrhea. You can identify this if you observe pale, foul-smelling, and fatty stools. 8. Weight loss. Have you been experiencing any sudden weight loss? This could signal pancreatic disease for several reasons. This organ produces enzymes and other digestive juices. These processes aid in the absorption of nutrients. Now, if the pancreas is inflamed, it cannot perform these functions. All of these can lead to weight loss. A sudden drop in weight is observed even in people who have a good appetite. As for the reason for this condition, it is the pain in the back of the stomach region that causes it. If you often throw up right after eating, then it can also be an early sign of pancreatitis. 9. Fatigue and weakness. Weakness is generally observed because of the improper functioning of the organ. If the digestion is not done properly, the absorption of nutrients also is not done. So people with chronic pancreatitis usually suffer from this as their bodies don't get the required amount of energy and nutrients from food. 10. Diabetes. Everything and anything related to the stomach has some impact on the pancreas. And if we are talking about chronic pancreatitis, it can severely damage pancreatic cells that are tasked to produce insulin. Failure to do so leads to diabetes. If you are frequently urinating, sudden loss of weight, or if you feel thirsty all the time, then that can be a sign of diabetes. By this point, you might have observed that many of the early signs were not very specific to only pancreatic diseases, and it is also challenging to detect chronic pancreatitis in the early stages. Further, being aware of early signs is one thing, but taking precautions to avoid it is another thing. Our habits and lifestyle take a toll on our health, so we should avoid smoking and alcoholic consumption since these are controllable by us, but some risk factors are not in our hands. One example of such factors can be a family history of pancreatitis. Whatever the case may be, proper diagnosis and checkups are important. And like they say, we must try to prevent it if we can't easily cure it. If you can detect the disease at an early stage, you will have more probability to curb the advancement of the disease. Furthermore, avoiding a high-fat diet can also mitigate the risk of getting pancreatitis. Apart from a major cause of pancreatic diseases known as gallstones, some medicines increase the likelihood of getting diagnosed with pancreatitis. For those who don't know, gallstones are deposits that are formed in the gallbladder. As the name says, they have a hard exterior and are very small in size. They block the flow of digestive enzymes, and the rest we know. All of this finally causes inflammation of the pancreas organ. Smoking can also increase the severity of the disease. Further, the medicines that I mentioned earlier, which could increase the chance of pancreatic diseases, are antibiotics, immunosuppressants, and anticonvulsants. So whenever you are taking them, always make sure to monitor if you feel any changes. If you also have undergone any previous surgery to the abdomen, then you should also regularly go for checkups. These can increase the risk of pancreatitis. Furthermore, there are some viral infections like mumps or hepatitis B and cystic fibrosis that can also lead to pancreatitis. When there is cystic fibrosis, you can observe some buildup of sticky mucus in the pancreas. As you can observe, these risk factors tell us how our life, surroundings, and genetics play a crucial role in the onset of pancreatic disease. So it is very important to understand and address these risk factors so that we can prevent and detect them at an early stage. It all goes without saying that you have to be proactive about your health and discuss any issues with your doctor. So that's it for today, everyone. I said this before and I am saying this again. Never brush off any of these early signs and call for help immediately. While the signs to detect pancreatic disease are also linked to other conditions, awareness of the symptoms can greatly make a difference. Detecting pancreatic disease early can significantly improve treatment results. If you have enjoyed the video, make sure to subscribe to the channel for more updates and don't forget to leave a like.